It's 6:30. We call Sawyer County Public Works meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Ron Kinsley.
Here.
Mark Helwig. Randy Newman. Chuck Van Etten. Brian Bissonette. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Number 3, pledge allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Number 4, certification compliance open meeting laws.
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 5, the meeting agenda. The agenda is set. Number 6, public comment. Ms. Linda Zomer.
Linda Zilmer, Edgewater property owner, resident of the village of Birchwood. I want to thank Highway Commissioner and maybe the business owner too for moving the signs that I had communicated to you about that were in the right of way. I think where they got moved to, at least the 3 that I passed, I think it's even better visibility. So I hope the property or the sign owners are happy and that you took care of a safety issue too. Another email I sent was about it seems to be missing information on the highway ordinances that are on the back of the form. So I hope that is addressed in a future meeting and that it was not intentional that all this got dropped. And then finally, also on the Labor Day weekend, Sunday, I took the online road safety survey. I noticed only one question that had to do with ATV, UTVs. It was, do you own one? Or whatever, and it was no. So then there was nothing else, but and then I don't know if when you fill that out, if you're supposed to get a confirmation, the directions weren't really clear. I entered everything, it disappeared, and yeah, like I said, sometimes when you do those online surveys, you get a response, but I don't know. So anyway, thank you, and reason I brought this up is this has been kind of a hot topic at a town level, and people are looking to the county. And I went through it myself several years ago. I knew there were rules. I just couldn't find them. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anybody online? Any of you folks that have entered lately, you care to speak to the board committee? Did you care to speak to the committee?
You might as well ask now. We read in the agenda, this is about the airport
Yes.
master plan, that there is possibly going to.
Can you state
Susie
your name and
Ulmer.
address, please?
My name is Susie Ulmer. My address is 10713 in Namacoggin Lane, Hayward, 54843. So we saw that there is to be possibly a meeting in October on the master plan. Would this be a meeting for the public or just a meeting with you people?
Mr. Alvarado.
Yeah, so we just set the meeting date earlier this week. It's going to be on October 9th, which is the next regularly scheduled Public Works meeting night. So in the afternoon, the advisory group will meet with the consultants. I don't have the time on that, but then at 6:30 during this meeting, the consultants will make their presentation. The first one we had was called a public information workshop. This will again be a public information workshop, but it'll be a part of this meeting. So October 9th at 6:30.
Okay, so you said it will be though for public also?
Yes.
So are you notifying the people within a certain radius of the airport about this meeting?
Well, you had a list that you notified them the last time, didn't you?
Yeah, folks in Jay's office and land records helped us
Yeah.
compile. It was about 100 property owners maybe. We sent off the letter to each of those people. I think Lynn helped in the office.
Yeah, so the same list that we sent to for the first one, we'll send to this one.
There were some people that were really close, just opposite the airport on the other side. What was it, 500 feet?
I think it was 500 feet adjacent at, what's the fella's name in land
Brian.
record? Brian. Yeah, we had to come up with some number. I think it was 500 feet. We got a bunch of return letters for people that I remember were not even at the address anymore, but maybe we can go up to 600 feet and see if Brian wants to do something.
can we request that they be notified again?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we'll be mailing out to the, this, we'll look at, I'm not sure which ones did not get notified.
Okay. Okay.
Send-
We went door to door on a lot of, to bring their attention to it. And there were some people that, there are a lot of people that are very interested in this and did not get notified. So,
We'll do our meeting.
Okay.
Last time that we put an ad in the paper, it'll be an agenda, and we'll do the mailing to the.
Okay.
property owners. But at this point, we don't have the agenda or.
okay.
Set yet, we just set the meeting yesterday.
Yesterday or Tuesday, yeah.
Is this a final determination of what's going to happen or just a discussion?
Um,
You're gonna
a
ask
little bit
Andy.
of both. Plan is that they're gonna come in, the
Ask him
consultants,
if this
gonna
meeting-
present
we
their
haven't
findings
had
and
this
their updated recommendations. So they'll be presenting to the committee, like in addition to the public, they'll be putting in front of the committee a recommended alternative. And either October or November, the expectation that the committee either accepts or asks for a different alternative. They want the committee to, you know, adopt an alternative so then they can complete the rest of the plan. By alternative, I mean like, you know, there was those layout plans of the airport, like in the future. They want the committee to recommend one of those to the county board for adoption. Then from there, they proceed to the rest of the plan. So it's not adopting the master plan itself, just the recommended alternative that would be essential.
Okay. Thank you.
And now at that next Public Works meeting, when that's not, the public is not gonna be able to ask questions that night, correct?
There'll be a public
Prior.
forum.
Oh, okay. And do we have this lady's address, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And her husband is on our pack as well.
Oh, okay. So like-
Mr. Ron Ulmer is. All the materials that are gonna be presented are also gonna be uploaded to the dedicated website. And those, we're gonna try to kick those out soon. I think they're very close to putting those up on the website. So there should be 2-3 weeks of time for people to review prior to the day of our meetings.
I apologize to the committee. Normally we don't answer them questions, but I felt like these had to be answered. Thank you. Is there anybody online, Lynn? Okay, thank you. Number 7, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Make a motion to approve?
Motion by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Newman to approve as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 8, maintenance report. Mr. Hagberg gives us a written report. I asked Andy if you'd read that report, and anybody have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Well, cold tonight. So it's been a nice summer with maintenance staff. We've got a full crew as opposed to the last couple of years, so we've been able to knock out a lot of projects. The big project internal with IT was installation of new cameras and then door access card readers. So we're switching more of our doors over to badge access, internal and external. All of our external doors now have badge access, so they also are controlled electronically, so we can unlock and lock the doors remotely. That's part security measure, also safety. So if we ever needed to do a lockdown, they can do that remotely. And the doors unlock at 7:30 in the morning, and anytime outside of, and they lock at 4, so anytime outside of that, employees need to badge in or out. The Barefoot Painters completed repainting the exterior of the building. I think we got a sharp looking building. The paint areas match the new siding that we put on as part of the expansion project. The remodeling in the district attorney's office has been completed. That took out kind of that little entryway and put a secure window into the hallway. They're working over at the ambulance garage this week to put in and turning in one space into an additional bedroom. So we have space for 2 crews there to be able to rest and operate out of. And then internal, the next projects here will be moving Justice Point into the child support area, and then also a secure area in the clerk of court's office. So that's in addition to what the other projects they've already completed. And then in the sheriff's department, there's been an ongoing project to remove all of the remaining cast iron piping in the basement and replacing with PVC. Rasmussen is the contractor, but our staff has been assisting with that throughout the project.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns? Thank you. Moving on, number 9, Highway Commissioners Report. Mr. Pennell.
Thank you. So we've been really busy out at Highway. We've completed a lot of projects, including the crack sealing on State Highway 63 from Washburn County line to Florida Avenue. We also completed crack sealing for the town around Round Lake on Moose Lake Road and 7 culvert patches for the town of Coudray. We still have some town work to do for Meadowbrook. We'll be doing that when we do the paving down on D. The scrub seal on Highway 48 was completed and painted from Copley Road to 40. We replaced 1 culvert on State Highway 40 down by Mansky Road, and that has been paved too, capped. We've been also in the process of completing multiple bridge crack filling and concrete sealing throughout the county. Our mowing operations, we're probably over 3/4 complete right now. Had a schedule from last year. We're still continuing to fix shoulders and brush throughout the county. Currently, we are fixing shoulders on County Road F, and we are starting brushing tomorrow on County Road H. The recent storm, we had over 60 trees down in our county. Crews were out most of the night and all the next day cleaning up. They did an excellent job at taking care of that. Paving was supposed to start September 16th, has now been pushed back to September 30th due to some breakdowns that Monarch has had with their plant and getting it into the Thompson pit. So we're running late on paving this year. County C Bridge update, it's going good, still on track to be completed by November 6th. I put together a road painting plan and finalized now, and our plan is to paint 34.9 miles, which includes County Road B from Chippewa Trail all the way down to County Road Double N. Then we're continuing down Double N to E, and then out to E to 27. So quite a bit more than what we painted in the past. We also been brushing at the airport, and we've completed as we used up the remaining budget for brushing at the airport right now. Dustin from our Keeping Simple, Safety Simple training will not be here he was not here today. He'll be back out October as he had some surgery. As far as the Safe Streets for All grant survey that we had sent out, so far Sawyer County has received 162 responses, which I've shared these responses with Andy and the Sheriff's Department. A lot of good information in this. Just to comment on public comment on the ATV question. If you click yes, there's 10 additional questions if you own an ATV that pop up. If you click no, it goes to the next page. I can have them switch that so we can, but there's 10 additional ATV questions on that. I did receive final approval for replacements of shingles on both salt domes. The one in Hayward, the one in Radisson, and then the salt shed, state salt shed in Winter for $140,000. The salt dome in Hayward and the salt dome in Radisson, the garage doors haven't worked for multiple years. So the state said if I can fit ordering new garage doors and get them working, I can put that money into it. So I got the shingles down to $118,000 to do everything. And then I got the garage doors at $7,000 for both of them. So we'll have working garage doors and new roofs on those sheds, but that won't be till spring. But I did get the DMA, so we're all good to go on that. And there'll be a public involvement here again for County Road E, October 23rd. That'll be the last one for County Road E for construction in 2027, so. Other than that, that completes my report. Any questions?
I have a question since ATVs are being brought up.
Mhm.
Refresh my memory now, because we're in September, we could be in the middle of winter at the end of next month. Under the ordinance, how does it work as far as closing the county roads?
I don't believe anything is closed on the county. They're open all year long.
On ATVs?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
I did not know that. Did you? Did you know that? Oh.
That's not a change. The routes we've had open previously were open year round.
It's gonna be different. All right. Outside committee updates. So anybody's on any of the committee that they want to share anything here, feel free. Maybe even a little bit of Health and Human Services from last night for those that weren't here. Or not. Number 11, Sawyer County Airport report. Mr. Leslie.
Good evening, folks. Right off the bat, I'd like to thank John for all of his hard work and crew. We've spent a lot of time just communicating, trying to come up with a plan. I know we talked about it just before the meeting here tonight in the parking lot, but when the last airport expansion happened in 2014, it really did change the areas that we cleared at the airport, and COVID hit in that time period. We had some rough winters where we didn't use all of our budget because the snow conditions didn't allow. So we were behind in some sections pretty bad. So we had the Fecon head on the excavator. We had the track skidster. We had the tractor with the big long arm on it. We had a lot, and we got a lot done just doing it in-house. So we were able to get at least some areas under control that were relatively high ground. I think they got stuck twice. I don't. But so thank you for the highway department and them for that. As far as my report, I put a fair amount of things in there. I try to put, paragraph sentence structure, almost give an explanation as to where everything's at. I assume everybody reads it. So I won't cover any of the topics that I have in there. A future agenda item, we'll have to add that on probably for next month. There'll be a hangar sale, I believe, at the airport.
We have one this. Oh, we have a renewal.
Oh, well, that was first on the agenda,
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
it? We're on
my-
it.
That's my error. I'd let you go first, so then we'll go back to that.
Okay. But airport revenues, FBO sales are up. Our fuel sales are higher than that as they were last year. So things continue to go well out at the airport in reference to that. Have an interesting year. Some of the bigger customers, the regulars, haven't been in and out as much. The 2-3 big name families. But we've had just a more non big 3 name people coming in and out. So I think that's good. It's not just 3 or 4 families using the airport, with the big jets anyways. I feel like that kind of cycles every other year for us. It seems like, one year will be slow, the next year will be really busy. And this year would be the slow year, I think. A lot of the people have dual citizenship too, where they've got homes in other countries. When we get to the airport contract stuff, we could talk about that next. Any questions for me? Thoughts? Everything's going pretty good at the airport. I keep in pretty constant communication with Andy about our kind of almost week to week activities. So no real issues to report.
Is the truck still purple?
Truck's still purple.
Okay.
Hangar renewal. Who wants to cover that, Lynn or Andy?
I can make it short. This is a existing 20-year lease that has an automatic option on a 10-year. So it's just, the terms are already written, and it's just, I think on here for you to approve.
Do we need a
I
motion?
think it'd be good to have that fan there.
Yeah, I think usually we always get asked, airport management gets asked, how is the hangar tenant? Are there any issues before renewals happen? Mr. Fandler is a very good hangar tenant. He's
No issues.
no problems with the guy. We really like him. He uses his hangar for airplanes. It's great.
I make a motion to approve the hangar release for Mr. Fandler. One of the, 10 years?
We have a motion by Mr. Helwig to approve the hangar release, second by Mr. Van Nett. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Let's go to letter C, airport manager contract. Discussion, possible action. Is there anything we want to discuss before we go into closed session?
Well, I guess I'd like to be able to just, discuss, the status of the contract and some of the terms a little bit of the history with the committee, but I'm not sure if I could do that in closed session or not. Is that more appropriate?
Well, you can do that part of it in
Yeah,
open
take
session.
the open session.
Yeah, so obviously it's up. Our contract was signed November 6th of 2019. I can't believe it's already been almost 5 years. Two of you were here when we did it. Both Mr. Hellwig and Kinsley were on airport committee. It was a long process, to say it bluntly. The airport management contract really wasn't. The airport management contract was kind of a foregone conclusion when we were negotiating the terms of the contract. The contract basically was a copy and paste from the previous contract that had been in effect since 1989. The real emphasis on the contract and the negotiations was the FBO contract, and the airport management contract kind of just came with it, so to speak. If you've read the contract, which I don't know if you guys would have read the airport management contract ever, before people vote on that, maybe it's something they should look at. I don't know. But it's relatively boilerplate language. It is my desire to continue providing that service to Sawyer County. I've had some conversations about what that looks like with Andy, which I think we'll discuss in closed session. But, you know, relatively speaking, I think the last 5 years has gone well. There's been some learning experiences. It hasn't been easy. During that time period, there's been quite a bit of stuff that's come up, but we've made it through it. I think the airport's in good shape. You know, I set out some goals before we started that contract. And all but one of them have been accomplished, and that's getting a new runway at the airport. Would have happened last year if our funding didn't fall through. Oh, that's one more thing on my airport management report. If you didn't read it in the news already, the block grant came through. Sawyer County got 2.2 million from the feds for our runway project. That just happened a couple days ago. So, you know, it's our desire to enter into a new management agreement with Sawyer County with relatively the same terms as the old contract, with a few changes maybe.
We good?
Yeah, just maybe for the committee and the public, so there's just to, I don't know, I guess dive a little deeper. FBO is a fixed base operator. It's usually the commercial enterprise at the airport. You could have multiple FBOs operating there. Generally, they provide services to airport users, the, you know, fuel sales, or he does
All of it, hangars and
hangars, he leases some hangar space to private individuals, provides catering, services, flushes out the lav cart, uses the lav cart to flush out the airplanes. But all those are all services that he receives compensation for from airport users. The FBO agreement gives us a percentage of sales or a per rate gallon of fuel sales. The management contract is representing being the county's face at the airport, representing us with the BOA, making on-site decisions, making sure there's a person at the airport operating under minimum hours. There's minimum standards agreement that the airport manager has to operate within. So just wanted to make sure there's two different functions there. Both are performed by Hayward Aviation.
We're trying to bring you up to speed where we're at. Okay,
management contract's about 12 or 13 pages. There's about 2 or 3 pages of the really important stuff that discusses the duties.
yeah, we will.
Yeah.
All right, so go to number 12. Number 12 is a closed session. Discussion of possible action pursuant to 19.851E to enter into closed session for the purpose of deliberating and negotiating purchase of public property and the investment of public land funds, conduct other specific public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons are required in closed session, the airport management contract. So we're gonna go into closed session and deal with his contract. When we get done, we'll come back out of closed session and we may or may not decide tonight what we're gonna do with that contract. So I need a motion and a second to go into the closed session.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Van Etten, second by Mr. Howick to go into closed session. We need a roll call vote.
Mr. Van Etten?
Yes.
Mr. Hellwig?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Kinsley?
Yes,
Mr. Bissonnette?
thank you. We'll shut the doors.
Andy, do you want me to stay for first part?
First part, yeah. Okay.
Derek, you want to get that door, please? Ms. Johnson. I wanted to make sure that that public knew we were talking about his contract and not something up here.
Yeah.
Well, we probably should update committee on the other topic of the
Thanks, John.
acquisition discussion. That's what.
There's probably one that'll come back. We've made no decision. We're gonna have it on the agenda again next month, so you're aware of that. So our next item is to go to the future agenda items, and one of the future agenda items will be, again, the airport contract. And we may have a closed session on it if we need it. We may not need it. We won't know until then. Anybody else have anything for future agenda items? There's no more airport hangars? Okay. So 14, correspondence reports, conferences and meetings. Something Andy and I talked briefly about. We haven't decided yet. We might have a special, we'll know after finance, probably tomorrow, if we're going to have a special meeting, full county board meeting for the budget. And / we might put something with it, potentially short-term rental or something else like that. We're hoping we can get a decision from the tug bustle. We might have that before. Close enough. Okay? If we got any questions, I'm just trying to let you know where we're at. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you for your valuable time.